guys, it's me. I'm back.
What's up, party people?
We're like, Mads, come on. All right, this show is taking a turn for the.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Monster Bass Live. We got a great show for you today. We've got Ray Larson from Razor Custom Tackle on the line, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about what it takes to build a brand, because it's not easy, and I feel like it's something that we seem to we're going through as well with Grande Bass, and maybe Chris with his sock company. And I feel like this is a really great topic because a lot of people think that, like, oh, you've got a brand in fishing, how great, it must be so awesome. And there's a lot that goes into it. So I think there's lots to talk about today. I was away last week and I missed you guys, but we were definitely, I was definitely busy. I was over visiting Grandma. I had to take my son to visit, go to the lake house and visit Grandma so he could see her a few more times before he went to school. And that was really nice. It's always great to go back there. Campfires every night. I mean, they got vineyards in the front yard, a river in the backyard. It's a pretty sick place. But I'd love to hear how last week's show went. And before we bring in Chris and Rafi, I want to remind everyone that you can always catch us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, or wherever you like to get your podcasts. And when you're there, if you like what you see, please make sure you leave us a review, good or bad. I mean, I'll take either one. So, let's not waste any time. I want to hear about last week's show, so let's get Chris and Rafi in. How you guys doing?
I'm good.
I mean, the question is, how are you doing? You sound like Phyllis Diller swallowed a pack of cigars.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's
I like it.
I don't know. I've been running the air conditioner. It's like 100 degrees out, and I've been running the air conditioner nonstop, and I think I just gave myself a sore throat. I don't know. I should be drinking Liquid Death, but here I am drinking throat coat tea.
Nice.
Good old
hey,
throat coat.
Okay, we won't just leave that out there, Rafi. Don't touch it.
Sure.
So last week's show is a good show. We just chatted. We had a good time. We're talking about some toxic nuts. We're talking about the walnut orchard. You were away goofing off, having fun with the family. And I think it was fun. I don't know. You asked about reviews from people. Let us know. Did last week thumbs up, thumbs down? We're just happy you're back, because I think talking about building a brand, you kicked this whole Monster Bass thing off like in your office, and the mailman would throw the mail through the slot. Your dog would go bark at it. Like, we've been there since the beginning together, watching you build this. And so I think that's part of the connection with the shows. When you're gone, we were all a little bit sad. What do you think, Rafi, not having Rick around? How'd that feel for you?
It was awesome.
I knew that was coming.
It was awesome.
I knew that.
I set that on a tee the best I could. All right. No,
I could feel his eyes on me right now. But we look, and what Chris is not telling you, Rick, is that we did a poll in the chat, with or without Rick. Overwhelmingly without Rick. That was the consensus.
Great. So, I'll see you guys next week.
Yep. Okay. You asked, we answered.
Yeah. All right, let's get talking about this building a brand thing.
Does that mean I get my Wednesdays back? I don't have to do this?
You do.
Yeah, you're gone.
Yeah.
All right. Only when we just want to interview you today. Today we're going to interview you about building a brand. I mean, you built a brand from the ground up, and you've expanded the brand. You keep expanding the brand. I think it's going to be fun today. So you got to stick around at least for today.
Okay, we can do that.
At least
we can definitely do that. So I don't know if everyone watching at home saw the new ticker, and we got a new screen. I'm a little surprised at the three-way view. I thought it was going to be a little bit different, but we'll have to streamline that. But the hotline's going to be open today. If you guys have questions, I can tell, because it's the numbers across the bottom. No more do we have to ask anyone what the phone number is. It's always there. It's always there. Good job, Fixie. Looks good. Looks good.
Yeah, good work, Fix.
So, today's topic's about building a brand. And I was thinking about, who else in the industry? I mean, obviously every brand at some point started out like this, but who's on a similar trajectory, and who who would be a really great person to have a conversation with about like how to take an idea, turn it into a bait, and then literally build it into a brand that, you know, is carried in not just your local tackle shop, but in some of the big box brands across the country. And you know, we've had some of Ray's baits in our box a couple times, and so I thought this would be a really good fit because it's not just, you know, I'm hand pouring Senkos in my garage. He's got some interesting stuff that's created that's garnered a cult-like following in his geography, and now it's starting to expand. And so I think it's great. He's going to make a great guest today. And so without further ado, let's bring in Ray Larson from Razor Custom Tackle.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good.
Thank
How
you
are you,
very
man?
much.
We've known each
good
other.
To be here.
Yeah, it's good to see you. We've known each other for what? About 4 years?
I would say, yeah, about 4 years. Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah. And
it's been an interesting ride.
Yeah. Yeah. How you know, when you think about your business and where you were 4 years ago, obviously it's a lot different. When did you decide to like start Razor Custom Tackle and like where take us back to the beginnings?
Well, probably the beginnings goes back to you know, I'd have to think. You know, I was trying to think today when we really started kicking off, and what timeline really brings me to is when Casey Ashley won the Bassmaster Classic. He won it with that little underspin.
Mm-hmm.
And that lure, just obviously a classic winning lure, it just blows up. So I remember at that point, we were just cranking out that underspin lure. And wow, I mean, that's all. I don't know if that goes back 10 years or 15 years. So, you know, I've been lure building for a long time. I can't remember when I started, but it always started doing stuff that I wanted to fish with. And it's, you know, at the end of the day, it's pretty cool when you make something and you're successful with it, and that's the pretty cool part of it. But I think 2020 is probably when we sort of met Rick, and that's when we sort of launched the website. I'm like, okay, we're going to try to get this out of the back of my truck,
yeah,
and let's just say move it into the garage and even farther on, and it's been a pretty fun ride. I mean. The success, I mean, it's like anything else. The highs can be high and the lows can be low for sure, you know. And,
yeah.
We enjoy this business. To think, you know, the average, there's a lot of people doing what we do, right?
Yeah.
And just to get that full understanding of, you're not gonna get rich quick, right? It's a labor of love, really. It's a passion, and if that's what you're wanting out of it, I think it's a great business, and then you just expand a little farther. You know, I think it's just fun.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, when they can create new lures for sure.
And when you started, were you primarily just, you know, fishing local tournaments and like, you know, having some success and then, you know, making baits and people pretty soon wanted them?
Absolutely. You know, we fished a lot of local stuff, but I'll travel around and I fish a lot of the Toyota series as a co-angler. So that gets me, you know, we'll run up to Champlain, we'll run Gunnersville down to Harris Chain, Florida. We run all over. So the circles run pretty big. And yeah, so when you're fishing with, you know, a guy like Brandon Perkins, right? The hammer on Pickwick Lake, and you're throwing a buzz bait and he's like, yeah, I need one of them, you know, and that's pretty cool. Another one is like over at Lawson Hibden from Lake of the Ozarks. You know, he just, you know, I'll throw that buzz bait out and he's like, hey, give me that thing. I want to throw that thing. That's pretty cool. You know, they got a long history of success. And when they want your bait, it's pretty cool. Even though they probably keep it on the down low sometimes, right? With their sponsors and stuff. But it's, you know, we got the product out there for sure.
Sure. And what was the moment that you know really put you over the edge where you said, all right, we're going to go from the back of the truck to trying to mass produce these in the garage and really make it go with this?
I think it was just sort of a timing thing that I just thought I was ready to try to expand this thing. It was like 2020 was hitting. It was like I was sort of winding down with, my full-time job a little bit. And I thought, well, we can take and push this thing a little bit and start running some shows. Like this year, our show season, we'll start like January 3rd and we'll run through mid-March. Every weekend we're gone. I think we take off Super Bowl weekend. But other than that, we're on the road doing shows. And it's pretty cool to go back and see repeat customers come back to that show and like, oh man, I bought this last year. I absolutely love it, and they come up to the booth and like just buying more. That's what keeps you coming back for sure.
How many shows will you do a year?
We'll do 8 or 9 shows. Oh. So we'll spend a lot of time on the road. I mean, so with that being said, right now is inventory time, right? We got to create that backlog of inventory and be ready to go. But it's pretty fun. It's like anything else. You got your whole group of guys that you sort of see that are, competitors doing what you do. But at the end of the day, we'll go out and have dinner afterwards. And I feel we don't have a lot of competition in this business. We just sort of do what we do, right? Yeah. And let everybody do what they want to do. And we're happy. We stay in our lane, and our buzz bait's our big thing, and that's what we try to really push on, and add some other things along the way.
So I got to jump in here because you've so many things are going through my mind. I think we probably got Rafi doing the same thing. Let's focus on buzz baits for a minute. I'm always curious. You got 20,000, maybe 30,000 now out in production. What was missing with the buzz baits on the market that got you to start tweaking them? Was it that you came up with something new? Did you just really love a buzz bait and you just tried to make the mousetrap better? Tell me about that buzz bait experience. How did you focus in on that and create something new?
That's a great question. I think the buzz bait absolutely, hands down, is the number one search bait, right? Because a lot of times you're throwing that thing, you may get a miss or a strike, but at that point there's active fish in the area. So you can run down that bank and have a couple strikes you might miss, circle back around and start dropping a shaky head or a jig in on that fish where it was active, and you'll catch that fish. So even though you may not caught that fish on a buzz bait, it's definitely a great search bait. I think, and I'll just lay it out there. I mean, I don't know what a lot of companies do, but our big thing on our prop knocker and our toad knocker is we do a counterclockwise buzzbait blade. So with that being said, I think it's a fact that, if you have a clockwise bait, you're sort of pulling it through and it just sort of runs with you. In my mind, the counterclockwise, it gives it a little bit of a draw, and I think it creates a little different sound.
Yeah, I think it may lean a little bit different as well. I love a buzzbait. That's why I got super excited when I learned about you being on the show. I feel like there is, and I don't know what it would be with hydrodynamics of why it pulls back differently, but I feel like with the clockwise, it actually may lean in the water, presenting the bait a little bit different. Your counterclockwise, it's just been proven, and so many people talk about it. Was that something you came up with on your own? And that's this whole thing with the buzzbait. It sounds like I agree. Sending that bait out there, trying to find fish, and it really calls up big fish when the thing's working. It's an amazing bait to catch the fish, just not search for them. But how did you tweak that? Was that oh, maybe let's try a blade that runs backwards counterclockwise? Tell me about that part of this.
Absolutely. We were just trying different things and blade combinations. Give you an example, some of the blades are plated, gold plated, nickel plated, or whatever. Myself, I'm a firm believer. I just like a raw aluminum blade. I think it optimal sound and performance. But I got a lot of guys on our pro staff that if they're going to throw one of our buzz baits, they want a nickel blade. As crazy as it sounds, I feel that nickel blade adds a little weight to the bait. Yeah. Not much, but I think it creates a difference. So I want that thing as light as possible, and I just think it gives it a better sound
Yeah, I think it's a little crisper. Yeah. Like letting it sit up top on the water. Yeah, I want to hear, what's your favorite? Tell me, what's your favorite setup? Color blade. It sounds like you go standard aluminum. Walk me through and tell everybody why. What is your trailer? What does it look like? Is it frog? Like, give us your exact favorite, because it may be the king of buzzbaits right here, right now.
So, personally, I'm going to throw Lake of the Ozarks is a great buzzbait lake. I'm going to throw a black and a black and aluminum, or a black and gold, depending on the cloud cover that day. I'm going to throw that from March. Once that water is 50 degrees, I'm going to have that buzzbait on my deck, and I'm going to run that all the way through September. Once September hits, I'm going to white, and I'm using a white frog or I'm using a black frog. I really don't use a skirt. I like our toad knocker. That's my go-to. I mean, we fished a USA Bass and Classic on Lake of the Ozarks in October, and how fun was it? My partner and I, we were able just for 2 days throw that buzzbait, white toad knocker, for 2 days and catch a limit. We ended up 4th, I think, in the USA Bass and Regional. We lost to all that local hammers there, the Hibdons, all that them guys, you know what I mean? But we felt we caught a 6.2 on the white toad knocker. I mean, it's just a great bait. So with that being said, them shad are starting to move in the fall. I go to white, but most of the other time I'm throwing black.
I love it. I go black, I go white. I mix it up depending on the sun, the cover. You nailed it. You're fishing same setups that I love. The toad, the frog follow, the trailer. It's awesome. So, I mean, I love what you've got. How do you feel? I think this is I like to be kind of the guy that sets things off. And this is what I hope to have happen. How do you feel when other people come in the market with something else? Because I'll say specifically, I know Rick has been working on a buzzbait, and I think it's kind of fun. I like competition in a workspace. I think it creates things to be refined and to be better. How do you feel when other people bring out buzzbaits or work on something or bring out something new? Do you enjoy that, or do you feel like it's kind of infringing in the fishing area that you're mastering?
No, absolutely. We know we're only going to corner X amount of the market, right? And there's no way I can stop anyone or have, like, oh, it hurts my feelings. No, you can't have hurt feelings in this business, because you'll be copied, you'll be duplicated, it'll happen, right? And and honestly, when that buzzbait comes out, yeah, I'm gonna buy it and I'm gonna go throw it and I'm gonna see what it's all about. See what it is. I mean, but that's just part of the business. I mean, that's just we're all gonna do it. We feel that our product is, it's one of the best out there, and it's proven. It's funny. You get a lot of guys, especially we got a little lake here, 4,500 acre lake here in Springfield. The guys don't talk about, oh, we were catching them on a buzzbait. They're not going to say that.
Right.
But I know they're out there catching them on a buzzbait, right? Sure. But they won't tell their buddies. It's all top secret. So that's one of the things you got to sort of work around. It's like, nobody wants to help spread your brand locally because they want to just sort of keep it on the down low, which is sort of fun. But at the end of the day, they're coming by the truck. If I'm fishing a Thursday night derby, you say, hey, you got any buzzbaits? You got any buzzbaits? Yeah, we got some.
Yeah, I have a buddy that he introduced it was basically like a bladed jig, and it's pretty big. And that's the thing is, I'm like, stop sharing it. They actually won back-to-back tournaments, Windy Wednesday, the last couple of weeks. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, everybody's not going to buy this thing. It's really funny. He had a friend come up and he's like, yeah, I bought a couple. They're just really not working for me, not doing any good, but I want to buy 6 more. And I was like, that's the best compliment ever. That was perfect. It's obviously the things that's not working. I just got to stock up on them. But I mean, I appreciate you being able to share that. And I'm putting the spot, having Rick here on the show, that competition, being able to see it, refine it. I think that's the fun piece of that's just fishing. And I think the funny part is some days your buzzbait won't work at all. And that, and just a little tweak or a different buzzbait. Break down this myth for me. You see people on social media and they're holding their buzzbait out the window and they're wearing in the blades and pre-buzzing it or putting it by a fan to get it to squeak just right. Are yours out of the box ready, or do we need to run those for a while as we're driving down the road getting ready to fish?
So just throw, it doesn't even matter anymore because we got our brand, but our secret sauce is, so I'm buying thousands of blades, right? So in the evening, I'll throw them in a bucket. I'll grab my roto zip tool, and I'll tweak every blade with that roto zip,
Wow.
and I'll core out that blade hole a little bit.
It's awesome.
And I think that makes a little bit of difference.
Yeah.
And honestly, you talk about thousands of blades. It doesn't take long to do it, but it makes a difference. It does make a difference.
Yeah. And you're not going to get that straight from the factory like that. That's just that's like your secret sauce that you do, which makes your baits different.
Right. Yeah. And now somebody else is probably going to do that, which they probably do. It's no secret. Guys take drill bits or whatever, you know what I mean? But, at the end of the day, Rick, you talk about, building a brand, right? There's going to be certain people that are going to buy the Monster Bass brand buzzbait just because your brand, right?
Sure.
I can't do anything about that. It's a brand, right? And that's what we're all about. At the end of the day is we want someone to come to the Razor side because they want to be part of the brand. They think it's a cool brand. Monster Bass is a cool brand, right? I mean, you want to be a part of that, and that's just sort of what we do on a smaller scale compared to you guys for sure.
That's awesome.
So how many retailers are you currently in today?
We're probably in 10 or 12, smaller retailers, and that number just sort of varies on, they'll come in, they'll pick something up, and then, they don't reorder, they do reorder it. The retail business to me, Rick, is a really, really hard business. You know what I mean? Our shows are a big thing, but retail business, think about, like, if you think about, a big box store, you gotta start running SKUs and everything else, and the expense and the margins and everything. And it's not really a space, it's pretty cool to be in a space like that, but it's a space that we're not like, oh, okay, we need to be there, right?
Sure.
I want to get the phone call Monday morning and say, Ray, send me this or send me this. That's sort of what our business is for sure.
And what's been that and what's been that path like? Obviously you wouldn't say no to 10 more retailers. If 10 more retailers showed up, but so do you have like an active plan or program or outreach program to attract new retailers, or is it just hopefully word of mouth?
Well, we get a lot of that from the shows, right? That we talk about it, and then it probably falls back on me a little bit of not really pursuing and pushing the retailers, because at the end of the day, it's a lot to to handle all of that, So for sure we like to get, especially on the retailers, like they're going to say, well, we want this, and I'm like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, no, you really don't want this, you want this. But the retailers are going to make that choice of what they want, and sometimes I think it's the wrong choice for them, for sure, because I know what sells. And so it's that, especially in the big box stores, they're going to beat you up. They're going to want this, that, and you're like, really, you just need 2 of these on your shelves.
Yeah.
Hey Ray, where do you put like I was going to say marketing exposure? You've obviously got professionals using your baits. You've got these shows that you're connecting with people. What value do you put with like social media influencers, other anglers? How do you break that down in your marketing strategy?
We have certain influencers that just are working with us all the time. And we just try, we're open, we get a lot of people that just, we're very fortunate that out of our people that are using our product, that we're not pretty much paying anybody to use our product. But we got some great people. Hannah, I know, works with you guys, and she pushes our product pretty good. And she's a great influencer, and we're happy to have her on board helping us all she can. So, our big thing on influencers, it goes back to, for us, we got probably 35 guys or anglers around the country that are using our product, pro staff people. And so to me, those are sort of our influencers too, if that makes sense.
No, for sure. That's awesome. We talk about that professional or promotional staff quite a bit on the show. Just because they're professionally fishing, they need to be professionally promoting as well. So that pro staff may be more promotional staff. And it sounds like if they're out catching fish, that's always been my go-to is just share the ingredients that make you successful. If you're using a buzz bait, if you're searching, you're finding fish or catching fish, just share it. If it happens to be your buzz bait, it's kind of an easy sell. And it just becomes that natural rather than paying somebody to promote something that they don't even know if it works. You're building a family. It's kind of like the Monster Bass vibe that we've got around here is like you mentioned, people may buy something just because it's Monster Bass, but really they're buying it because they know Rick has done the diligence, due diligence work to make sure that bait's going to work. He'll send samples to all of us. And that's, starting this buzz bait journey. He's like, hey, what colors do you guys like? How much weight? And now if he's got 20 people, he's going to probably get back 30 different answers.
Yeah.
And that's that fun that process. So no, I think it's great. I mean, buzz bait specific. Go ahead. I'll let you jump in.
To me, the colors is black and white. That's it. That's all you really need is black and white buzz bait. We do for the shows, we'll do an all pink buzz bait with a pink toad on it or a pink skirt. And the smallmouth guys absolutely love it. And so that's sort of a new tester we started doing a couple of years ago. And the pink buzz bait is probably a big one. But other than that, I mean, we do this coastal. That's a pretty hot color right there. I mean, it's just and that's sort of a strange one, right? Because it works in dirty water and clear water. It doesn't make a lot of sense. But at the end of the day, my confidence bait is a white buzz bait or a black one. I'm on the deck. I mean, that's what I'm going to have. And so I'm not going to really mix around colors. And that's probably why I struggle sometimes at some events because I'm just, I'm stuck on that, right? If I was throwing Lake of the Ozarks, they like a black skirt with a red blade, right? I'm not throwing that. I don't have confidence in it. I may throw it 10 times and, no, I'm going to pick up something I need. That's the biggest thing we hear in the shows is like, I never catch anything on a buzz bait. And then at this point, I'm like, here's a buzz bait. Take it. It's free. Just throw it. Use it. I mean, you have to throw the buzz bait. You got to believe in it and have confidence. And once you get that confidence, man, right, it's a big fish bait, and you'll be hooked. But people don't throw it enough.
Yeah. Talk to me about the internal struggle that you have when you're debating, with yourself about how, should I expand my product line and what should I bring to market? What shouldn't I bring? Do I just stick to my buzz baits or do I branch out?
That's a great question. We try to, I think we had it in your box, our junior flipping jig. That's been a really good one. We expanded on another a true flipping jig, but to go back to that question was, I fish a lot of the Detroit River, Lake St. Clair, Lake Erie, and at that point, when I was fishing early, like June on the Detroit River, that current is just ripping down that river. A nethead's a big player in the smallmouth game, right?
Yeah.
Well, nobody really had a heavy net per se. So we came out with a 1/2 ounce, 3/8, and a 1/4 ounce net head with eyes. There's a couple of companies now that are making them with eyes, and we, by no means, we're the first one to do that. But that was something I brought to market, and that was sort of just answer your question, was self-serving. It's something I wanted, and I was like, yeah, we're going to take that to market because it's a need for it. The beauty of that 1/2 ounce net head is I like using a little small 2.5 inch tube. So when I'm out there on the lake and I want to throw a tube, I will take my 1/2 ounce net head and I'll throw it inside that tube. It blows that head out a little bit. It almost looks like a little goby going down. And so it's, I'm not carrying a bunch of terminal tackle, but that net head is, these, I mean, they're just money. I mean, it's just great. We incorporated a screw lock on there, so you can take your TRD or whatever trailer you're using, and you can actually just screw it on, and it's money. We'll start with that half ounce in June when the grass is down, the current's strong, and then by August the current backs up a little bit and the grass is getting taller, right? So then I'm taking my 1/4 ounce net head and just bouncing it over through that grass a little bit, because if we use that half ounce, you'd just be ripping through that grass, right? And that's no good. So that's why we have a half and a 1/4.
Sure.
3/8 is just sorting out there.
So for everyone that's just tuning in right now, we're talking with Ray Larson from Razor Custom Tackle, and better known as the Buzzbait God, and he's breaking down what it took to build this business, because for guys like me, it's it hasn't always been easy, and so when he's talking about some of these baits and you're like, I've never heard of it, well, now's a great time, because Ray's got a show special for us. So I'm gonna have Fixie put it up on the screen, but you just head over to razorcustomtackle.com, use promo code MB30, and you'll save 30% off. So if you want to give one of their products a try, because you've never tossed it, support some small businesses, and give something from Razor a try. I know you'd appreciate it, and
absolutely.
I think you're gonna love their products. So, Rafi, I wanted to give you a chance. I know you're off. Ray's aware that we bought Grande Bass, and I told him that you're running it. What are some of the questions that you have, since you're 5 years or 10 years behind him?
I am 5 years or 10 years behind you, Ray. I have a bunch of questions, but they're a little bit different from the questions that have already been asked, which I guess is also why I'm on the show. But first of all, the chat would like to know, is it a coincidence that your first name is Ray and your company is Razor, or was that by design?
Oh, that's absolutely where it falls through. I'm a hockey guy my whole life. For 50 years, I've been playing hockey. We're still playing hockey, and so Razor sort of my hockey nickname for sure.
Nice. We thought for sure it was your DJ name, but hockey also makes sense.
Yeah, hockey's the deal.
You mentioned that your full-time job was winding down while Razor was ramping up. Curious as to what that job was and what was going through your mind when you decided to take a risk of leaving something steady, and what helped you take that leap into putting your full attention into Razor Custom Tackle?
Well, I was pretty much a builder developer by trade, and worked in some commercial industries and stuff, and it was just like I just thought it was just time to make a change, and I went and got my captain's license, and so I'm going to start running some guide trips out of Lake of the Ozarks and Fort Myers Beach, and I just thought it's time just to do what I want to do, right, and just give it a whirl. By us doing the sport shows and stuff, that creates us pretty busy. But yeah, I still dabble definitely in the construction field. I'm still doing projects every day, but I pick and choose what I'm doing. But absolutely, I'm still swinging a hammer, doing some stuff, doing some remodeling. So I'm not totally out of the construction field, but definitely scaled back for sure.
Yeah, it's okay. So here's something that I struggle with, and when you mentioned it, I lit up. Talk about brand and the importance of building a brand, and it's not so much about the product maybe as it is getting a product from a specific brand. Like when you accused Rick of potentially ripping off your designs when he comes out with a buzzbait, you said that the only thing that's really going to carry him is the fact that people like people like Monster Bass, right? But a lot of the questions that we've been asking you, and a lot of what's been happening in the chat, has really been drilling in on the products. And what I've noticed with Grande Bass is that the products are fish catchers. They really are. And to fish with Grande Bass is really I see it all the time where people become repeat customers, and it seems like the exact same thing that you're saying with Razor. But how do you differentiate between a brand and what your brand stands for versus your products and how your products fish? Because it's always been a little bit of a confusing path to me. So I'm curious as to how you navigated that.
Wow. I mean, that's a great point because, you're going to get, let's just break it down to easy numbers. You're going to get 30% of people that are going to be a one and done. They're going to try your product and like, yeah, it's all right, but not really feeling it. Maybe they're looking for a discount. And then you're going to, the next 30% of people, you're going to be like, yeah, I sort of like it, but, I like Grande Bass, I like Strike King, whatever, different brands. So, you're not loyal. And then you're going to get, hopefully 30-40% of loyal customers that are just like, we want the brand, we're all in 100%. It's hard to navigate that for sure. I don't have a great answer for that because it's difficult.
Yeah, I'm right there. I'm right there with you.
It's if you can figure that one out in any business, you'd be successful because that's a hard one to navigate for sure. At least I feel it is.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Right, where I'm describing Grande Bass as like the collection of the values of the products, or as like the collection of the results that people get with the products. But I'm still having a little bit of a time wrapping my head around brands. So I'm glad that I'm not alone in this one.
Yeah, and you guys are, probably where I get a little advantage maybe is every time somebody makes an order from us, whether it be 2 buzz baits, right? At the end of the day, that may be a new customer, maybe a customer from a show, maybe a word of the mouth. But at the end of the day, I'm going to probably give something free in that order, even if it's just 2, because the way I look at it, it's advertising dollars, right? So if I can take a product and give somebody a free product in their order, even if they just bought 2 buzz baits, everybody likes something free, right?
Yeah.
So at that point, they're like, oh, So right now, our biggest one is Rick. You talked about bringing something to the market. I have made buzz or spinner baits a long time for myself, and my spinner bait that I've made for myself is a 3/4 ounce big double willow. It's a Lake of the Ozark killer bait. That's what I make for myself. And everyone's like, when are you coming out with the spinner bait? When are you going to do it? Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, we're working on this spinner bait right now. I don't even have packaging done for it. But we are I'm dumping this into some new orders and getting it in people's hands. So with that being said, we're trying to spread that brand, trying to get that new spinnerbait out in people's hands.
Sure.
So with what you're saying, Ralphie, is if you got a great product, you know what I mean, do a small three bait in a package and get it in somebody's hands, because at the end of the day, it's very little investment for you, and somebody feels like they're getting a little bonus, right? And I think that really goes a long way.
That actually gives me an idea, and it's probably a terrible idea. So when you shoot it down, I'm not going to feel bad about it. But you make incredible buzz baits. Grande Bass makes incredible baits that could potentially be great trailers for your buzz baits. What if we figure out where for some of your orders, you would put in a free bag of Grande Bass worms, and for some of my orders, I would put in a free buzzbait, and we would sell the pairing together, and then we can also cross promote.
Oh. Absolutely. We've done that a little bit with some other companies that, and it works. So we've definitely done some collaborations with that, and we'd love to work with you guys for sure. And
awesome.
That's exciting.
It's an interesting idea.
Fix, you could take me off the air now. I think I'm done.
We'd welcome that for sure. You know what I mean? I mean, Rick, we've been talking. I really want to. We just have everyone's been busy, but we'd like to get something back in the box too. I mean, we want to get back in there for sure. The box has been good. We've gained some loyal followers for Monster Bass and customers. So we definitely see the value. Want to get back with you and get in the box for sure.
Yeah, I'd love to know in the chat what if you guys have any opinions on what of Ray's products we should put in the box, because we'd love to feature you again for sure. So we should try and make that happen.
Yeah, there's been a ton of suggestions in the chat. I haven't been paying attention now that I've been talking a little bit, but you have some pretty big and loyal fans in this chat, Ray.
Oh, that's awesome.
Love that. Oh, excuse me. Love that.
Hey, Ray, can you give us some insight of like, what's the business look like? I know you're talking about building stuff in your garage, all these different positions of having a sales team, a production team. What does it look like for you? Are you managing the majority of the workload yourself, or what do you got for your business?
You're looking at pretty much a one-man show for sure. We design it, we make it, we manufacture it. We use a couple different spin casting companies. We pretty much got away from the painting aspect of it, but as far as the assembly and stuff, I mean that all falls right here. And at the end of the day, if you work 8 hours in the shop, you can crank out a lot of lures. I get pretty fast at it for sure. Most definitely, when the pro staff comes in is, when we've done some big orders for you guys, I was able to, get some help, and our pro staff, local guys have been very helpful, and we rely on some people that are retired that, I'll take big boxes over and just have them do a lot of packaging for us, because the packaging can be time consuming for sure.
Yeah. That's awesome. And I think that's the key when people are looking at brands, to know, and that's that hard part, like Rafi's talking about, like, how do you introduce people? What's going on? Are you behind the scenes? Are you pretending there's like this big Wizard of Oz fake? We're way bigger than this, but you're letting people know, like, you're supporting me and my family and my brand. And at the same time, they know that each piece is going to be basically hand built by you. And I think that's that connection of, hey, I'm not just buying something that works. I'm buying something I have faith in, but I'm also buying something that I know it's supporting Ray. And I think that goes a long way when you're talking about brands. And I think that's where the Monster Bass family, everyone that's part of the chat, part of these shows, they call in, they know who's involved in the family. So it's cool to get to know you and get to know what your brand's all about. And then, I mean, to know that you're out there fishing with your stuff and cut and dry at the end of the day. I mean, you want to make stuff that catches fish, it sounds like, that's the irony when that's what's got to happen. That's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, our shaky head with our eyes on it here, we do that in up to ½ ounce. You throw, if Grande Bass has got a nice 10-inch worm, that would pair perfectly on our ½ ounce shaky head, right? And you get on the point, summertime, Lake of the Ozarks, that's a money deal for sure. And so with that being said, is everything we make, it's stuff that I personally wanted, and then I launch it out, right?
It's custom.
I like it. I'm going to sell it out for sure.
It's amazing.
So can I ask you on your Ned, the Ned, I love the idea that you have eyes on it. And I have a thing with eyes on baits, and I just want to know, do you like happy, like round eyes, or do you like mad squinty eyes? Because I'm a mad eye kind of lure guy. What do you like on eyes?
Well, you're right. And scale wise, we just use round. It's convenient, but yeah, the oval eyes or the squinty eyes, yeah, they're definitely cool, pretty cool to look at. But, we're pretty traditional on just a round eye for sure.
All right.
A lot of times I get lazy too. If I'm getting ready to head up to St. Clair or something, I'll just I fish some of these net heads just even raw, natural, no paint, and I'm not so sure that doesn't create another flash that gets more bites. I don't know. I got them that green pumpkin with eyes or flash. You're fishing one of the world-class smallmouth fisheries. They pretty much bite, right? But so I don't know. It's fun for sure.
What's your confidence lure when you're not fishing anything that you have made?
A product that I don't make that I like to use.
Yeah.
Probably that 6XD crankbait for sure. And I'm not a big crankbait guy, but I keep going back Lake of the Ozarks, so we're fishing a lot. From summertime through fall, you get out there and you throw that thing. It's going to catch them for sure. Yeah. I do like some of. I've probably tried every different spinnerbait out there, and but at the end of the day, I think we got something right now that I really like, and we're comfortable with it. That 3/4 ounce, bringing that thing in the fall against the docks anywhere in the country, it's money. It's going to catch some big fish.
Is that going to have a skirt on it? I know the thing you held up. We got the head. I love the idea that it's 3/4.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I just pulled it. I actually just pulled it out of the garage, so without a skirt. But this is actually our coleslaw color. It's a great color. It's got a little chartreuse and orange and white on it. Pretty basic blade colors right now. The silver willows. I do like throwing a thumper spinnerbait, but we're just starting out with this one for sure. See where it goes.
That's awesome.
No, like anything else.
Go ahead.
You talk about having, pro staff guys and have them promote your, business and stuff. And you're like, and all the guys do a great job for us. Some guys are on social media than others. Some guys just flat catch them better than others, right? It's all, it's a win-win, and we appreciate every one of the guys. But like on our spinnerbait, they're like, hey, I know you guys are throwing spinnerbaits. Which one are you throwing? Or what, and they really don't say much. I mean, they'll buy some from us, but that's the thing we try to work with. Like, hey, let me know what you like. I'm curious. I won't be mad. I get it, right? Not everyone's going to use our product. And so it's just, trying to navigate through that, right? Is that pro staff using 100% of the product, because it's not going to happen.
Okay.
So how much longer, Ray? Are you going to do this till the day you leave this earth?
Absolutely. It's a passion for sure. I mean, I like the space. I'm probably going to try to spend more time down in Florida guiding a little bit. So we are working on a saltwater jig that we got a guy that, pretty well-known guy down in Florida Keys that's using our product right now. And we're going to try to expand off that and probably dabble in the saltwater market a little bit for sure. Because it's sort of creating a nice little niche for me. I like that saltwater. It's pretty fun.
Now, if I ask your wife, what's she going to say?
Well, she's been gone for about 5 years, so she might give you a loaded answer.
Oh. You're killing me. Literally.
Yeah. No, I mean, we've got mostly bass anglers on here, but that inshore idea, that buzz bait for snook and all the different fish you can catch, that the spinner bait. I mean, you've got some definite candidates that do well in the Florida area and different places. But with you working and being the one-man show, what's the next thing in the hopper? Like, what are you looking at? Because obviously you got the buzz bait. You can always be tweaking things, but what are you focused on right now?
Well, our big thing, what we're focused on right now is what the heck just happened here? It's just we're gearing up for our shows. That's on our plate right now. I mean, to run 8-9 shows, the inventory is, because sometimes, like if we go to that East Tennessee show, and then we'll go to Nashville. Mm-hmm. I'll probably zip down to Destin for a couple days rather than drive back to Springfield, Illinois, where it's cold. It's about the same, so I'll spend time on the road. So I want to make sure I got plenty of inventory with me on the road. Yeah. So that's probably a key part, because when I come home, I'm just sort of restocking. I don't have time to be really creating new things. When I come home, we're basically filling orders. So that's what the struggle is when you're a one-man show, right? Is when I'm on the road, I get orders. I'm like, hey, I'm on the road. I'll get you in a couple days. I can either refund your money, or I can, if you can wait a couple days. And most people are fine with that. And again, when someone's got to wait for an order, we may throw a T-shirt in or something just to try to keep them happy and keep them coming back.
So tell me, I'm a show guy. Go ahead, Rafi, hop in.
Good communication really solves almost every problem. Especially if you're on the road, people understand that you're a one-man show. They want to order something, they want to support you, and then you reach out to them saying you're important and I'm going to get to this as soon as I can, but I'm just not physically able. Like, I would imagine that your success rate with that is near 100%.
Oh yeah, they're typically fine. I haven't had anybody that said, "Yeah, send me back my money." I mean, it doesn't happen. They're pretty patient for sure.
Now, I was going to hop in about the shows. What does that look like for you? Like, are you going show setup, selling? You go to ICAST? I guess it's a double part question. Is obviously it sounds like you like to go to places where you can sell. Are you going in with a huge show setup? Do you bring all your products? Take us through a little bit of that. Of like, are you towing a big trailer with you wherever you go? Tell us about your show experience.
I'm pretty lucky. I travel just with my truck without a trailer. I've been trying to keep it that way. And with that being said, we can take all our product line. I mean, I think in the one picture shows a good layout of our show, and we can create a lot of we'll do a 10x10 or a 10x20 depending on the show, and we can haul everything in my truck, and it just works. I thought about this year getting a trailer where I could stay out on the road, but it's just that hassle, especially in the wintertime. It depends on where you're at, pulling a trailer. I like the convenience of just having everything in the truck. So with that being said, this year we're probably going to just do the truck one more year.
Smart.
If my truck lasts, I'm running a Chevy truck with 330,000 miles on it. So I hope it don't fail me this show season, but we're going to just keep running it for sure.
It's awesome.
This portion of the show brought to you by Chevy. What are some of your favorite shows?
The Collinsville, St. Louis is really probably one of our favorite shows. And it goes back to what Rick talked about as far as being brand awareness, right? That's 90 miles, 100 miles from me. So we have a good presence of Southern Illinois. So that's really a good show. We did Madison, Wisconsin last year. That was really a good show. The East Tennessee show is a wonderful show. A big show. It's a great consumer show. Probably not one of our better shows, at the end of the day for profitability, but we'll go back there again because it's sort of like the Mecca Grand Show, right? You just sort of need to be there. We do Grand Rapids, Michigan, which is sort of interesting because you deal with the smallmouth, walleye guys and salmon guys. Not a great show, but we have a pretty good niche there. And, it comes down to booth price, right? I mean, we'll do a 10x10. It's some of these bigger shows, it's costly. So when you're selling products at $5-6 a piece and you got to cover your expense on your hotels and your booth space. You got to sell a lot of products, and so some are better than others for sure. And at the end of the day, is I'm not looking at, okay, I'm looking at our show season 2025, right? That you have some winners, you have some not so great, but at the end of the day, we look at the bottom line, right? And was that Grand Rapids show a value of us being there? Did we reach more customers? Is it going to pay off in 2026? That's what we're looking for. You just can't look at like the dollars, what you brought from that show, because I'm going to average it out over our 9 or 10 shows, right, and then reevaluate if we go back or not. And so far, we just keep going back. We just keep expanding. We're going this year. We added Richmond, Virginia. We got some staff guys there, and we want to head there, and possibly we might have our saltwater jig available at that show. But we're gonna give that a run out there.
Party Marty's been talking about the Richmond, Virginia show forever. He says that it's a fantastic local show.
Yeah, so we're going to give that a whirl, head out east a little bit. We got some of our staff guys and that's the beauty of the staff guys is for us is they come work the shows with us, and that's a huge help. Whether we're in Michigan, St. Louis, Madison, Wisconsin, I got somebody in the area that's going to come by and work the show with us, and that's huge. I mean, so it's just when you talk about having pro staff, there's a lot of different advantages they bring to the table, and we're very thankful for all our guys that work with us for sure.
Well, Ray, I want to say thank you for taking the time to be on the show with us today. Learned a lot.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
For everyone sitting at home, if you're not a fan or you're not aware of Razor Custom Tackle, you should give it a try. Head over to their website. There's a code down below. Save yourself 30% off, and you're definitely going to see them in an upcoming box. And it's I want to say thank you as well for being a supporter over the years for Monster Bass, and it's been great featuring your baits, and hopefully it's been mutually beneficial.
Absolutely. We've enjoyed the partnership for sure. It's been beneficial for us, and we look forward to continuing this for sure. Yeah. And now it looks like I want to jump in with Dorelfi a little bit on Grande Bass.
Yeah,
yes,
for
sir.
Sure. And we'll probably see you at one of these shows.
Absolutely. That sounds great.
Yeah, so that's great. Ray Larson, everyone. Thank you so much, Ray.
All right, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you.
Bye. I learned a lot.
That was awesome.
There's a guy that's, turned a passion into a business. And really owns up to the word custom. He touches every single one of those.
It's got my head spinning. I don't know what you're thinking. Like, that's old school. It's awesome. Yeah. He's at shows. It's funny when we were asking him, and I let it go, and all these different thoughts of like, people talk about businesses and cost of acquisition for each customer, how to scale it. All these, he's just like, I'm out there, I'm putting products in people's hands. I know they work. I like to see them. I like to have this repeat customer. He's not, I mean, I hate to say this, but he's not in it for the money. But I think he kind of said that, but it's just one of those things is like, he's in it for the love of sharing fishing with people. Like, it's what a cool dude. I mean, that is just so fun, so refreshing. Obviously, people need to eat, people need to have money. It's expensive to live in this world, but that guy is in it for a whole different game. So good for him. What a cool thing to know that he makes his living really at 8 or 9 shows, but that is a grind. I don't know if anyone's ever done a show. I've made a living off of doing events.
Yeah.
You're there all day long on your feet, not to mention you're setting it up. And then behind the scenes, he's not just ordering the product and having it just shipped from somewhere. He's building the product. Right. Hey, what's your next thing you're working on? All he's doing is grinding away for having enough inventory to show up to those shows. So what a cool experience.
That was the craziest thing when Rick and I were at the Classic, right? We were around like a bunch of really great bait companies, a bunch of local tackle shops. And then there was this like whole row of like knives, whether it was kitchen knives, hunting knives, or what have you. And these guys were awesome. and on their feet, and they built the booth and they broke it down. And like Rick and I are looking at each other as we're breaking down the booth saying, wish somebody would just come like with a bucket and just pour us into our seats on the plane so we could just get home. And these guys are chatting it up with each other like, all right, so we're going to see you next week. Oh, I'm not going to be there next week, but I'll see you in 2 weeks at the blah, blah, blah. And it's like just traveling around from show to show is it's such a grind. Like I really respect that hustle so much because not everybody can do it.
Circus. I'm telling you, it's a circus. I was in San Francisco this last week and I did the Giants half marathon. And you wake up at 3:30 and you show up at the stadium and you get things set up and you get to announce the run. And then I'm inside the stadium and calling out the runners. And the day before we were in the stadium all day long with this family challenge. And it is exactly like you're saying. That's not for everyone to get up multiple days to go back and then know the next week I mean, he's driving his truck up and down the East Coast. Like that's future Rafi Monster Bass, Grande Bass. That's having that opportunity. How cool is that to get out and get to see people? I think you guys have had that experience. Tell me, Rafi, I mean, I think your takeaway from some of these shows was just getting to know people that have used Grande Bass or excited to use Grande Bass. Has that been your experience with the shows?
The shows are super valuable. And whether they're a consumer show or whether they're like a B2B show where you're meeting dealers and distributors, there really is no substitute for just getting out there in front of people. And having somebody on pro staff like a Matt Brown who can also speak to the baits really intelligently, like angler to angler. You just watch people, like you watch the lights go on, right? And it would take me weeks, if not months, of like cold calling and relationship building just to do what can be done in a show. And again, even on the consumer level, like Rick, you and I walked away from the Classic, feeling so good, probably having given away just as much as we sold, which maybe isn't the best business model, but having people walk with Monster Bass or Grande Bass, a huge smile on their face and excited to fish it, and a story about how they connected with like the owner and founder of the brand. It's just you could feel how big that is.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Do the people in the chat know I can read the chat? I just got to bring up, like, talking about out kicking my coverage. They mentioned my beautiful wife, Kelly. What is, I mean, that is so I'm right here. I'm like chop liver. Like I'm right here. I can see that.
That's why he said it. That's why we pinned it.
It's so messed up. It's so rude that we got.
Wait. Are you feigning disgust now?
No, I'm actually, it's about time. I mean, give me some credit for even having this wish I was giving me the time of day. Are you serious? Like I feel like I did a great thing.
So
like
you
talk about a PB. I'm trying to set you up for a PB to go. This is a segue to PBs.
Well,
like my PB.
The way that this transpired was, Texas Huntsman. Like I just noticed the picture in the back. Is that blonde? Like, is that Chris's significant other? Because if she is, wow. And I told him, I said, go to his Instagram.
So this is my beautiful wife fishing. Yeah. So she's beautiful, right? So he's like, hey, go to Instagram and see Chris. Miss Wish I Was Fishing.
Yeah.
It's way better looking than Mr. Wish I Was Fishing. She's like a famous model.
Yeah.
I mean, she's beautiful. She's gorgeous. So I was just laughing because I'm like,
thank goodness you have money.
Coverage. Like, hey, just rolling in it. So I was just like, hey, I wanted to tell him thank you. Thanks for noticing. So, I think I did pretty good. So PB, I was trying to segue into our PB. Do we have a PB? Do we have some big bass to talk about?
Well, I think we were going to go with a Grande Bass update first, but we can transition. Let's, why don't we fire up the trophy room and, if this is your first time, I don't know where you've been, but, we love to celebrate all of your catches, right? It's whether it's your biggest catch or just the one you're proud of from this weekend. Head over to monsterbass.com/PB. Upload your picture to the trophy room, and if we use it on the screen, we'll send you a little something to say thank you. And so let's get this first one up on the screen. It's from Tron Foster. It's a 3-pounder on a swim bait out of South Carolina. That looks bigger than 3, but
It does look big.
It does.
That's a good one. Good fish.
Like it. All right. Next up is Tony Riggs, 3 pounds, 9 ounces. I don't know about that. Chatterbait green pumpkin. What do you think? 3 pounds, 9 ounces?
I don't know. Tony's a friend of the brand. Tony, email me. Let me know if that's legit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going. I mean, so he's got no long arm. He's got his arms bent. We talked about being able to share our initial reaction. So I'm going, yeah, I think 3.9. That's a good fish.
It does have a big belly. And
Tony?
Yeah, Tony's got a big belly.
No, he doesn't.
Oh, he looks true. He's good.
All right, the next one up. I can't make this up. His name is Bobby Bass.
Come on.
Oh, jeez.
I was so excited. This is what I was waiting for.
No idea.
The airtail wiggler. That's why I was just so excited to get to these because we had talked about having this little secret thing. So 6 pounds, 8 ounce. That's a good one.
Yeah. And Rick, if you
is that your hair?
Yeah, that is my hair. That is all.
No, I'm saying no. Is this six? No, is 6 pounds 8 ounces? Is that the weight of the hair?
That is 100% the weight of the hair.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
I mean,
you know, Rick, if you listened to last week's show, this wouldn't have surprised you. We planned it live.
I mean, how do I get one of those autographed for my bathroom?
Yeah. Oh, we could do that.
We may. I think we're gonna do a run of socks. We're gonna the old Rafi socks. We got to replace those. So maybe we'll do the Bobby Bass.
The Roth Ross.
Yeah, right.
Ooh,
I mean, don't get Chris started. He does love. All right. Next up is Derek McQuay. 6 pounds, 3 ounces on a Texas Regatta, Virginia.
Okay. Hey, so I'm going to tell you that is trademark skinny bass. And this is one thing that we all need as bass anglers around the world. We need to start recognizing the largest part of your bass should be its stomach, not its mouth. So as great as that fish is, this is what we talked about with the aquatic biologists. That bass is probably stunted. That bass should probably go 8 pounds, but a great fish nonetheless. Nothing to do with the angler. Realistically, it's the fisheries that we all got to start thinking about. But that's a good looking fish. If it had a bigger belly, it'd be even better.
Do you think he airbrushed it to shape the hips a little bit?
You know, I teased about that a while ago. Maybe the fish kept getting held up on social media, and they may all have like this eating disorder. So
right,
yeah, totally.
Everyone's talking about fat bass, big bellies. They're like, hey, easy.
All right,
you know,
well, let's give Derek McQuay some extra credit points here, Chris. If that bass had like the belly that you would expect to see on it, how much do you think it would weigh?
Oh, I think it could go 8 pounds. That's the cool part is like we could segue into a relative weight discussion, and I'm going to talk to you guys. I want to do a Monster Bass, Grande Bass Fish Socks tournament, not how big the bass is, but relative weight. I want to find the lakes with the fattest, healthiest bass, but that's a whole nother topic for another day. But that's my quest for this fall season is I want to see how the cool thing is 22.5. So what off air, I have this cool little calculator. So I'm going to go 22.563, and I'll tell you the relative weight of that bass once we get back. But keep going.
All right, Brent Hinshaw, 6 pounds, 14 ounces, out of Iowa, on a football jig.
That bass has got a belly, and that Brent has got a smolder.
Moving on.
That's a good bass. Look at that thing.
Yeah.
It's a great bass.
All right. Last but not least, Big Ron Jones. 5 pounds, 4 ounces.
See, that one looks smaller than the 3-pounder to me.
Well,
that's fine. Yeah, that could, hey, this is the beauty of sharing. It's camera angles. It's making the bass look thin.
I believe all of them because everyone on social media hates everyone else and says that they're all photoshopped. So I believe everybody. And with that, thank you for your submissions. And as always, if you've got one that you're proud of and you want to upload, head over to monsterbass.com/pb. Thank you.
Where we're all winners.
Where we're all winners. Participation trophies for everybody.
Yeah. So that bass, let me update our listeners. That bass was 22.5. It was 6.3. A relative weight scale, that bass should weigh 7.34 pounds to be 100% a very healthy bass. That bass is at 85% relative weight. So when people are like, oh, it's spawned out, bass put on weight for the spawn about 10%. And then once they spawn, they might be maybe 1% or 2 below. So that's a super skinny bass, which is that whole catch and release discussion. Is there enough forage food? But that bass he held up. Everyone's excited. You catch a bass at 6.3, but that is an unhealthy, skinny bass.
Yeah.
So interesting discussion.
Yeah.
But keep catching.
I say we call him up. I say we call him up and tell him that, he can tell everyone that it was 8.
Yeah. Well, tell him to feed the bass, man. You catch bass. We got to figure out something like you catch these skinny bass, like sneak a crawdad or something, like feed them some food. So
yeah, you got to throw a live bait. You got to throw a live bait in there just to give it back to him.
We discussed that. No, we had
bass was just underfed. I needed to feed it some stuff.
Sir, I'm sorry. No, that's the whole. We had a great discussion. We called somebody from Texas Fish and Game. Got to be careful to not bring in invasive species with your bass snacks.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool what's going on in the world. We're all learning, so that's the fun part.
We're all learning, and now we're about to learn about grande bass.
Speaking of learning.
Yeah, speaking.
So Ray was talking about the importance of pro staff as far as spreading the word. And grande bass, we're doing a VIP club, and VIP club is limited. I'm actually really happy with the way that it's been going, and just the activity that we've been getting on social media. But there have been so many people who are asking for something more, or are there openings because space is limited. And so what we are doing is we are rolling out a pro staff. Now, unbeknownst to any of us, we actually rolled out a pro staff by accident, where a pro staff button was live on our website for 3-4 months, and we have no idea where any of those emails went. So if you think that you signed up for pro staff, sign up again. But go to our website. Fixie, are you able to put this on the screen? I'll drop it in the chat. But grande bass pro staff is now a thing, and at least to start, I want to give pro staff a rolling 30% discount on all grande bass products, and get it going. Now, everyone, the way that I'm going to do it is that everyone is going to get their own code, and it's going to be connected to their email. No sharing, no nothing. We're gonna do it.
Everybody gets 30%.
Well, everyone who's accepted into pro staff. Okay. There's like criteria there. No. This isn't a blanket sale.
No, okay.
Rick was nervous.
Sign up for pro staff. Let us know your socials. If you get accepted, or if I recognize your name and like you because you participate in the chat, then at least to start, until Rick fires me, we're doing 30%.
That's good.
How many people, just out of curiosity, are going to be in your pro staff?
I don't know yet. Right now, there's 0, so it's no risk.
So like 10,
maybe 10,
maybe 20,
maybe 20.
Rafi, what's the criteria? So break down a little bit. Like, who are you looking for? Yeah. What kind of people?
Yeah. Well, okay. So pro staff, as you had mentioned, is promotional staff, and so you need to be active on socials. So the VIP club is designed for people who love to fish, who are out there on the water, who don't normally have an opportunity to be a brand ambassador because their social followings aren't necessarily robust. But from like a brand building perspective, they're exactly the type of person that I want to put baits in their hand. But from a pro staff, I want you to be active on at least one platform. Multiple is a bonus. Doesn't matter if it's YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. It might matter if it's Pinterest, Instagram, and some of it is I just want people to let us know why they believe that they would be, the right fit for grande bass. So if I'm checking and somebody's telling me, hey, I'm this amazing fit for grande bass and I love grande bass, and I'm looking at their order history and they haven't ordered anything, even with a robust social following, I probably would not put them on pro staff, because I want to build out like an authentic group of brand ambassadors that can promote this because they love the brand, they love fishing, they're already out there, and they have a good social following, and they know how that game or that system works. So those are pretty much the criteria. It's kind of loose. I tend to err on the side of, I didn't run a fishing company until Rick said, want to run a fishing company. So, I'd like to extend that to people who are either on the cusp or like, just because, you might be starting out, you could still either say the right things or position yourself in the right way where, we would want to grow with you and help support you and watch you grow.
Yeah. So I guess Jeremy Hickman talking about product placement and pictures. Yes. OnlyFans, footfinder.com, whatever social media following you got, as long as you get the baits in front of people. That is one of my favorite things when people are like, hey, I want to connect with you and cross promote your socks. And I'm like, hey, what's your favorite thing about the fish socks? Yeah. They're like, I haven't worn them yet. And I'm like, awesome. You just answered my first question. So I think that's when you're talking about having a connection to a brand, having used the baits. It was so fun talking to Ray. It's like, if you're using his buzz bait and you're catching your PBs on it and you're using it as your search bait, your go-to, I think that's one of those keys. It's like, why are you choosing grande bass? And you can't wait to be a part of it, not to make money, but almost like this infectious idea of like, it's your religion. And you think this good news that you have, thinking of the gospel, you want everyone else to share in that. I think that's the best human you can get, that they're like, I use this bait because it's better than other baits and I catch more fish and I know the guy's running the brand. Here's the story. And I think that's the people that you're looking for.
Agreed.
So that's awesome.
And I've never been driving down the freeway and seen a billboard, with the possible exception of In-N-Out next exit, that has influenced me to take action, right? 99% of the time, I'm just tuning out what's passing.
Wait. I mean, I drive to Southern California and I'm like, I get down there, I'm like, I need dental implants. There's the billboards.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
The billboards, come on, the billboards in your area, fascinating. And you live in Billboard Central. So I love your point of like, it's crazy, but to see something, but what is that one visual impression? Like, what's that doing? You gotta know the person.
So I think that what we've done is we've kind of tuned out all of the noise. And back when like social media was a little bit more novel, the idea of bigger influencers, pros, I think it was less noisy than it is now. Now it feels a little bit more disingenuous, just like there's always going to be somebody hawking something because they're getting paid by some brand, and whether they use it or not, like it or not, I think for the most part, we tune out. So I do like the idea of micro influencers, of smaller influencers who don't necessarily have the reach, but they're legit. And to your point, Chris, they're not white noise. They're using the products and they're simply sharing with their friends, fans, and followers that they use the products. And I think that even though that might be a slower road to hoe, I think that that's really going to help build brand credibility and build sustainability as we start to get bigger and as we start to get wider distribution across all parts of the country.
That's awesome.
30%.
30%.
Good update. That's all he's thought about since then. He's back there doing calculations. I'm over here figuring out bass relative weight, and he's looking at profit margins and this sliding scale. It's like, no, I'm teasing.
Yeah, the problem is that we work on a 20% profit margin. So I understand that my math might be a little flawed here.
Look, as long as they've used the baits and they love them, that's all that matters. Like Chris said, if they're like, oh, I've never thrown your stuff. Well, garbage.
Yeah, but pro staff, I mean, the secrets of fishing and products are probably out. Everyone knows. But pro staff, they get their items shipped in Ziploc baggies because the cost of packaging is probably more than the bait. So as long as they know that, they're getting little Ziploc baggies with the handwritten, like, this is what kind of worm.
We just leave their orders outside in the front of the warehouse with like a Post-it on a pile of baits.
There you go.
Come and pick it. You have to pick them up. They're not going to be in packages, but it's all going to work out. You're going to get the bait you want.
Yeah.
I love it.
Love it.
That's good.
And Jeremy Hickman needs to give me free login credentials to his OnlyFans if he wants to be accepted, because I've been trying for 2 months to get in there.
I'll give it.
It's a waiting list. It's a waiting list.
All right. Well,
I love it.
Great. That was great. I really enjoyed listening to Ray tell his story. I mean, I think that this is what makes this industry so different from others. Like just the number of good people, just salt of the earth. Love it.
Yeah, totally different. I mean, when you started Monster Bass, going to shows and building a business out of products you're making yourself, like your idea of how your business was developed versus his idea, I don't know if you could get further apart. The reality of like what that guy's doing. But you guys, it's so fun to think like two individuals building brands completely separate, completely different, taking over an existing band like Grande Bass, and then trying to revive that and bringing in some expertise and having Rafi grow that. And then at the same time, collaborating with somebody like Ray. Like what a cool circular story to tie it all together. Yeah. That's the fun part. Like I always tell you, like you guys do things so different. And that's why I like to throw out there like, hey, Rick is working on a buzzbait, Mr. King of Buzzbaits. And he's like, bring it. Like, this is what's cool. Let's throw his in the box. You get to look at it. We get to make things better. I mean, we're all going fishing.
All good.
That's cool.
All
what
good.
What a fun show.
Yeah. Well, it was a great show. And we're glad to be back. I missed you guys. I don't know. I know Rafi didn't miss me.
Well, I do have some guidance for you, though, Rick. When you sign off, but you're saying goodbye to just Chris and I.
Oh, yeah.
Give Fix like a tap or a nod, or make sure that he knows that the show might not be over.
Yeah, we'll just use the aerosol.
Yeah.
That when you do the air noise, that means we're leaving. So we say goodbye, and then you get to say goodbye.
That's our cue. Bye, everybody. Yeah.
Wow, I really appreciate that tip. All right, guys. Well, I'll see you guys later. Thanks.
Bye,
Rick. Chris.
Bye, Rick. Bye, Rafi. Just us leaving now.
Bye, Chris.
Oh, we're back. Oh, they're back.
Oh, hey. Okay. Goodbye, everybody.
All right.
No. You hang up, Chris.
No, you hang up.
No, you hang up first. I'm not hanging up.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, I didn't expect to be on here. I thought the show was just going to end. We're just kidding. We're just giving Fixie a hard time. Anyways, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. We hope you guys had a good time. Don't forget, there's a 30% discount code on Razor Custom Tackle. Head over there and support Ray. I mean, he's sitting there right now drilling the holes in your buzz baits to make them a little bit bigger. That's what gives it that custom touch. So, all right, guys, we'll see you guys soon. Have a safe week, and we'll see you next week.